2024 real estate and mortgage predictions. Before I jump into that, I want to say if you're subscribed to this channel, thank you. If you're not yet, press the subscribe button, hit a like, maybe comment and say, thanks for the info, or here's what I'm looking to learn. Can you do a video on this? Something to that effect. As the year wraps up, thank you to all the subscribers. Thank you to all the support. It's about a decade here on YouTube. So without further ado, let's jump into 2024 real estate and mortgage predictions. Matt, the mortgage guy, residential mortgage broker, licensed in 48 states. Connect with me and my team by going to greatmortgagebroker.com. We'll help you out. We'll help you get pre-approved, show you the numbers, do all the things. Greatmortgagebroker.com. Okay, let's talk about 2024. I feel like I've got a pretty good finger on the pulse because not only do we close a lot of deals, talk to a lot of real estate agents, talk to a lot of mortgage lenders and consumers here in California, but we do it across the country. And so when I look at data, I can look at that data and match it with what I'm seeing in the real world to come up with what I think is a pretty good feel for what's going on in both the real estate market and in mortgage. So let's start with the real estate market, where depending on who you talk to, the real estate market is poised to see something like 5.1 million transactions in 2024. Now, to give you some context, 4.3 million was the number of transactions that were done in 2023. When all is said and done, the dust settles, that's about the number. So 20% more real estate transactions expected to happen in 2024. Then you look at mortgage interest rates, which in the month of November and early December have seen a rather steady decline, right? From highs around 8% on the 30-year fixed to closer to 7% for someone with great credit on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage as a national average. So rates have come down already. In 2024, the projections for Fed rate cuts, which affect the Fed funds rate and then eventually get into the long-term debt like 30-year mortgages. And so it will affect those as well. 5 rate cuts means that mortgage interest rates are going to come down. As long as the inflation data we see continues to see inflation come down. As long as there's not crazy, wild other factors going on to, economic numbers and jobs numbers, we fully expect mortgage interest rates to be lower. And I won't give you an exact number, or, well, why not, right? Let me give you my best guesstimate. And I haven't even looked. Fannie, Freddie, Mortgage Bankers Association, National Association of Realtors, they're all going to have where they think mortgage interest rates will be at the end of 2024. A lot of those predictions have a 6 in front of them. And I think that's accurate. Based on everything I've seen and based on what we expect, my guess is that the end of 2024, we're in the low 6s on the 30-year fixed rate mortgage. I think when I talked to my buddy Mike Zuber, I landed, if I had to bet, and I had to place my bet with any quarter rate spread between 6.25 and 6.5. Well, I made that bet before I saw what happened in the last month and how they came down to pert near 7. So that might be even a conservative estimate. Maybe we get to the 6 to 6.25 range. People who are really bullish on interest rates coming down might say that 5.75 to 6% on the 30-year fixed rate by the end of 24 is a possibility. Okay, so 20% more real estate transactions, mortgage interest rates going lower. Now, the million-dollar question that people who are in the market want to know, what's going to happen to home prices? What is it going to look like in my market at the $500,000 price point for me as a first-time home buyer, for me as an investor looking to buy something that cash flows, looking to buy something that's going to appreciate and help me become wealthy? Now, this is the tricky part because we're in an environment in most areas of the country where there's very little inventory. And it might feel like I've beat this drum quite a bit, and you've heard this from me quite a bit, but it's just the truth. With low inventory and interest rates going lower, which pushes us up demand, home prices can't help but to go up. So my hope is that interest rates don't go down too much too fast, injecting too much of that demand into the market, which is going to push home prices up. If we have more inventory come on, whether that's the seasonality of the spring inventory, whether that's new build inventory, whether that's, unfortunately, some distressed inventory coming to the market, people with economic challenges. If we can get some more of that inventory and not have too much increased demand, then prices can stabilize. When 2023 is said and done, I don't know what the number is going to be, but it's going to be a 5 or 6% home price appreciation for this year, where a lot of people talk crash. A lot of people talked about, how the sky was falling. And in some markets, you might have seen 15 or 20% decrease from the peak, but that's just one-off markets where people are fleeing markets because of one reason or another. But in 2024, a relatively flat home price appreciation is what I would expect and what I would predict. So if you asked me to pin a number to that, just like I pinned the 6.25 to 6.5 to the 30-year fixed rate by the end of 2024, I will go ahead and say moderate to low home price appreciation. Call it 3 to 5% over the course of 2024. So home prices go up 3 to 5%. Interest rates come down to 6.25 to 6.5%. With all that being said, if you're a real estate professional, if you're a loan officer, I've got an event coming up next week, December 19th at 3 p.m. Eastern. Andrew Cady, another loan originator who runs big teams all over Florida and Georgia and across the U.S. Him and I are going to be talking about having your best year ever. As a salesperson in any field, I think this might benefit you. As somebody who's just an entrepreneur looking to grow your real estate holdings, this might benefit you. So see the link down below. Register for the event. 2024, best year yet. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about the real estate market in 2024, things that you're interested in my take, leave a comment down below. Things that you think I might have missed or I'm not considering, comment down below. Great discourse and a community engaging in conversation is a great thing. That's why I continue this channel. That's why I continue to speak into a camera, put it on the interwebs, and then interact with great people across the US. So I'll leave the link down below for that great event we have on December 19th, 3 p.m. Eastern. If you want to connect me and my team to get yourself pre-approved to start looking at real estate, go to greatmortgagebroker.com. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.